everyone, and welcome back to Toku Toy Theory, where I take a look at toys from various tokusatsu series and try to figure out why they look and act the way they do. In this video, I'll be doing the first half of my look at Kamen Rider Meteor, the secondary rider from Kamen Rider Forza, in which I'll be looking at his basic gear, that being the Meteor Driver, Meteor Switch, and Meteor Galaxy, as well as Kamen Rider Meteor himself, and his bike, the machine MeteorStar. So let's get started! First, we have the Meteor Driver and the Meteor Switch, which Kamen Rider Meteor used to transform. Now, unlike the Forza Driver, this is similar technology in that both make use of Astro Switches, but for the Meteor Driver, it's basically solely a conduit for the transmission into Kamen Rider Meteor, and doesn't really have much in terms of real-world application, as Meteor is a much more combat-oriented suit than Forza is, and also makes use of very different technology. It only uses one switch, being the Meteor Switch. A dark blue clear switch, similar to Forza's state change switches, but it has no number to it. Rather, instead, it has Kamen Rider Meteor symbol. It's a circle switch and is based on a celestial globe, a two-axis globe that's used to track different stars and planets. And to activate, take the celestial globe part and then slide it down, which creates the shape of a shooting star or a meteor. For the transformation, first requires the insertion of the Meteor Switch, which will set it into the mode that recognizes. It changes light color to blue to recognize that the Meteor Switch has been inserted. But rather, instead of the Forza Driver where it just allows instant transformation, the Meteor Driver more acts as a conduit for the transmission, as Meteor is powered by a satellite called the Meteor Backup Satellite, or M-Bus, and cannot transform without approval of the operator on the satellite, a mysterious masked man named Tachibana. For the transformation, the first step is to pull back this lever to set it into standby mode.
Meteor, ready?
Then hit the blue lever on the side to initiate the transformation. And like this, it has only one more function, which is to make use of the limit break by activating the Meteor Switch,
Meteor, on, ready?
then spinning the globe in the center.
Meteor, limit break!
Now, many have compared the music that the Meteor Driver gives off to disco music, and compared the belt to a disco ball, and that may be a possible secondary reference, as there is a brand of disco ball called Meteors. So it might have a kind of a double motif to it. Next, let's move on to Meteor himself. So once again, in contrast to Forza, whose suit is pretty bulky and rather padded and used for protection from the elements in terms of different environments, outer space, and whatnot, and is much more of a utility-based suit. Kamen Rider Meteor's suit is very slim, very sleek, and very designed for combat. And rather than being designed as a spacesuit, it's designed after space itself. Take a close look. It's mostly black, but you notice various sparkles through it. Essentially, the suit itself is the dark night sky, with all the sparkles being different stars. Then, a pair of meteors streaking across. Actually, he has meteors in different places across his suit. The first one, obviously, being on his head, which has a very interesting dynamic to it, where it has a silver coloring on the inside as a base, with glowing red eyes, then it's covered by a clear blue plastic piece that changes him into a more purple color. On his chest, he has a shrieking meteor that goes down to where the actual meteor rock itself is the belt. Then he has two more meteors on each side of his feet. It's a very simple design that allows for a lot of free movement. And though it's simple, it does kind of go along with the theme, which is of space itself and celestial bodies. This is reflected in his weapon, the Meteor Galaxy. Unlike Forza, who makes use of Forza modules and weapons to fight, Kamen Rider Meteor mostly specializes in hand-to-hand combat. So instead of using any kind of weapon, he instead makes use of a wristband device called the Meteor Galaxy, which allows him to enhance his right fist with the power of different planets. It's based on a fingerprint scanner and can only be used by Kamen Rider Meteor using a special device on the tip of his left index finger. As seen here, has a special symbol to indicate that fingerprint. So it has 3 attacks based on the next 3 planets after Earth: Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. To use one, you have to push up the desired lever, then press the fingerprint scanner.
Mars, ready. Okay, Mars.
And what each of these attacks do is that they create a hologram of that planet over his right fist and then give him a different power based on each one. For Mars, as the red planet, while in truth it's actually kind of icy, for the Mars attack, it gives him a burning punch that can ignite on contact.
Jupiter, ready. Okay, Jupiter.
For Jupiter, as the biggest planet, it gives him a lot more force and punching power than he normally would have. It is the strongest of the 3 attacks.
Saturn, ready. Okay, Saturn.
And with Saturn being known for its rings, it allows him to create energy rings that he can then send at his opponents for a ranged attack. It also works similarly to Forza's modules that he uses for his first 2 state changes, that can make use of the Meteor Switch for a limit break.
Limit break. Okay.
This allows him to unleash a series of rapid punches to finish off his opponent. Finally, we have the machine MeteorStar. So, Meteor's bike is based on the same base motorcycle as Forza's, but instead of being based on a rocket ship or a space shuttle, it's based on a satellite, with a satellite design in the front, as well as the back, and then 2 solar panels. This seems to just basically be a mode of transport, and does seem just for getting around. Though Meteor does have a special ability where he can kind of contain himself within a large flaming kind of energy meteor and transport himself to where he needs to be. But it does have a little bit of a hidden feature. Interestingly enough, the Machine MeteorStar is compatible with the Power Geyser's Tower mode. It is able to clip in, and using the part on the back, which is basically its booster, it can lock in to the upright tower mode. Meaning that, hypothetically, this could also be used for Kamen Rider Meteor to blast off into space if he needed to. It does give kind of a little bit of an idea that there is some kind of connection between the Meteor system and Forza system, even though they were created for different purposes. And there you have the basics of Kamen Rider Meteor. Now, as one last note, I do want to say that the Meteor Driver is compatible with other circle switches. However, the only two that it properly recognizes are the elect switch and the fire switch. While others stay the same color. I didn't show those off just because the thing I want to make clear is that these Toku Toy Theory videos are not meant to replace my old reviews of them. So there is some stuff I do kind of leave out, just so that there'll still be a reason to kind of go back and watch my old videos. But I think I've pretty much covered the basics of the Meteor system. It is pretty interesting, where it's quite a contrast to the Forza system in being much simpler, more combat-oriented than utility-oriented, and being based on outer space and the different celestial bodies like meteors and planets, rather than being space technology and based on the things that would be useful for an astronaut to have. So it's pretty cool in that it stays within the space theme of Forza, but it does its own thing and has a very different kind of style to it, where it doesn't look like it's just a clone of Forza. And so that's definitely pretty cool. And so, for my next review, I'll finally be getting around to actually doing LBX Achilles, and then after that, we'll be doing the second half of my look at Kamen Rider Meteor, where we look at the things for his power-up form, Kamen Rider Meteor Storm. So if you enjoyed this video, please either like, comment, or share it. You can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/KRX50. And for now, this is KRX50, finishing the fight.